Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Janine McGowan. I design cross stitch as the Blue Flower, and this is Flosstube 122. 122! That's amazing. So I know some of you have been with me this whole time, and I can't believe we've made it over 100, well over 100. So just taking a moment to appreciate that. It's settling down here a little bit. We've made it through the time change. You know, falling back used to be one of my favorite times of year because it felt like when the time for an activity came, you were always prepared for it. And now I really struggle with it because our oldest greyhound is very schedule oriented. And so she really struggles with she doesn't appreciate our ridiculous clock manipulation shenanigans. So yeah, but she's adjusting now. She's no longer insisting that we're extremely late on everything, so that helps. All right, jumping right into stitching in action. We've got fun stuff well, we always have fun stuff, but extra fun this time. First off, we have, let's see, I've got to get my notes here, make sure I get the right ones. I'm wearing my contacts for the first time in a while too, so I've got to kind of, refocus. All right, Sarah stitched The Language of Flowers Friendship. This was the first in The Language of Flowers that I did, and I absolutely love what she did with it. She made it into she said just sew together, or sew together bag, but I love it. She made it for a friend of hers. I love the colors. I love the finishing. It looks beautiful, and I love that it takes cross stitch from something that you look at and appreciate to something that you can also use while you look at and appreciate it. So thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that. And then next, we have a whole batch of fun, that muffin shape finishes. Chris Canaday, who many of you know as an amazing model stitcher and who has stitched many blue flower models. Honestly, I'd be lost without her. Really, I'd have one release a year. And she's done so many of them. It's just, she's a wonderful stitcher. But she and her friends got together recently and did sort of a finishing weekend, and they were working on that muffin shape because Chris stitched the original Bees in the Greenhouse, and then she stitched Festive Forest. And so they were friends of hers, had seen her finishes and wanted to try the same thing. So they got together with their stitched pieces and they worked on the finishing, which I think is a really great idea. You know, you can figure it out together, help each other through it. I love that. She said they also talked about some of the finishing options for the tops of that muffin shape. Including hat pins, finials, tassels, all sorts of fun things. One woman even said she was going to do a stumpwork bee, which I would love to see. So we've got this whole set of things that they were working on, and I'm just calling out a couple of here. Let's see, we have Kathy, who did a Festive Forest finish in that shape. And then Lisa did her Bees in the Greenhouse and topped it with a bee pin that she had in her stash. I think that's wonderful. And then Mary Kay topped hers with another decorative pin that to me looks very much like a sort of Victorian finial that would be on top of a greenhouse. So fabulous work, all of you from the Friends and Bees retreat. Well done. And thank you all so much for sharing. As always, if you've stitched a blue flower design, I would love to see it and I would love to share it. I'm still working on getting the new website updated with all the stitching in action, so those are lagging quite a bit, and it may not happen until January, honestly, but I still want to feature them on the website if you're willing to share. On to what I'm stitching. It's nothing. I'm not stitching anything, but I've been able to design, which is lovely. And it's just about time to work on, I'm hoping to get a freebie done for Christmas, and also I'll be picking up my needles to do the blanks for teaching classes at the Jingle Ball. So I will be stitching hopefully this week. Yeah, that'll be great. Stash Spotlight. This is a fun one. They're all fun. They're all my favorites. Yeah, I couldn't pick a favorite because they're all the best. All right, this is a Stitching Parliament from Hands On Designs. Get a good view there. And when I was at the Beautiful retreat and in their shop, I got to see the models, and they had stitched them up on very large format standalones. They were really impressive. I think I would like to stitch them as a cube because they're all the same size, but I just love them. I love their little stitching tools and their different facial expressions. I know Kathy did hers all together and as standalones, but these are really fun. So that's my stash spotlight for this week. On to World Around. This time I chose the Sonoran Bumblebee. With all those lovely bees in the greenhouse designs to show off this video, I wanted to pick a social bee to talk about. And the Sonoran Bumblebee is a social bee that lives in the western US, is named for the Sonoran Desert. Since we were talking about bees, I looked up the collective nouns. There are the usuals: hive, swarm, colony, etc., but also bike, which is apparently an Old English word meaning hive, swarm, colony. You can also have a grist of bees or a rabble of bees, but I like a bike of bees. The Sonoran bumblebee pollinates a variety of native plants from sunflowers to clover, and was actually featured on a stamp pollinating the flowers of the nightshade plant, which is quite toxic, but not to them. Queen bees are born in the fall. They look different from the males because their back legs are very slender. They're not evolved to carry that pollen. And at the end of the season, the male bees are sort of guarding a territory and patrolling it. Queen bees will come through, they'll mate, and then the queen bees will retain that genetic material through the winter, and they'll go out. The males die once the mating is completed. The queen bees will then spread out from the area and look for a winter home. As I understand it, they're not like honeybees, which are also social bees, but produce an enduring home that the colony stays in, whereas bumblebees do produce a nest or hive equivalent, but they only use it for 1 year. So it's a very different approach. The queens will pick like a mouse hole or something underground that they can use as their nest and burrow. They'll sort of hibernate for the winter months, and then once flowers start appearing in the spring, they'll go out, start collecting pollen. They'll make little wax pots to store the honey once it's created, and they'll start laying eggs, which they then keep warm, like a bird, keeping their eggs warm. I thought that was quite interesting. So if you see a bumblebee nest, it looks like this little jumble of sort of pots and pods all together. Again, they're not keeping it year after year. They're using it for 1 season and then they're done with it, which comes with a completely different approach. They have a very unique way of collecting pollen called buzz pollination. And apparently a very large proportion of plants have something called anthers, which are long tubes, and the pollen is distributed through little holes at the end like a salt shaker. And so what a bumblebee will do is the queen will bite into the anther, wrap her body around it, and then shake violently and buzz and use that sort of sonic vibration to actually propel the pollen out of those tubes. And this is something that honeybees can't do. They can't buzz pollinate. And lots of plants rely on this buzz pollination, including things that we're very familiar with, like blueberries and tomatoes. So it's a really important type of pollination that really only bumblebees do. So like so many pollinators, it depends on having lots of native plants available for them that they can feed on. So if you get a chance to put some of those pollinators in your garden or your flower pot or wherever you can next spring, that would be great for them. Those queens will be out hunting up some pollen to go ahead and take back to their little pile of pods underground. And yeah, that's it, the Sonoran bumblebee. So that was fun for me to learn about. On to questions. Question last video was, what is your favorite candy? And it's a good thing that Halloween is over, because quite frankly, I would have wanted to go and try all of your favorite candies as well as mine. Question this video, I'm on a food kick, obviously, was, what is your favorite pie? I think Thanksgiving is a pie holiday. And as much as I love in summer the delicious fruit pies, there's nothing better. But it's something about the cold weather pies and pastry in the cold weather, and it doesn't matter, sweet, savory. I am here for all of it. So yeah, I do look forward to the pie holiday. All right, on to best thing this video, new releases, lots of them. Now, I don't have all of them with me. The ones that were here to be photographed, I still have. The ones that had already been photographed have gone on to a trunk show. So I'm going to put photographs of all of them up when I'm talking about them, if I don't have it here, and then I'll take a little break and let you see the pictures properly. So first up, Winter Moth. This one is the Jingle Ball exclusive, actually, and I love it. I was inspired for this one by these sort of rose-malling designs from traditional, I think it's Norwegian and Swedish art, and I I had so much fun with this. This fabric here is also a Jingle Ball exclusive, and this model is stitched with silk, which, don't let it scare you. Silk is lovely to work with, but Gloriana has put together thread packs for these that include just the amounts of silk that you would need to stitch this this pillow, or however you want to do it, you know, with the little design. So it was really nice of them to do that and not say, oh, well, that's great, you want to stitch with silk, but you've got to buy 10 skeins of silk, because that would be a lot. I just used a piece of fabric from my stash to back it, and I love the little polka dot. So there it is, Winter Moth, all ready to go, and that is only available at the Jingle Ball. The rest of these are all available at shops. So next up, this is this year's holiday card, and again, I've got a little stash backing. Oops, sorry. This one is a bison because I love them. He's got his Fair Isle sweater on. He's got the little dainty little berries and leaves and things around. It's a quick stitch. It's very small. It's a little smaller than the holiday cards, but they tend to be on the smaller side anyway, so that one was a lot of fun to work on. Then, from small to big, Snowy and Bright, we have this one, and you can probably tell I love those sort of shiny bright style vintage ornaments, and that's the shape that I've got going here with these retro sort of colors and designs. It's always hard to get a good photograph with the lights on, but and then inside I put these little like almost diorama scenes with an animal and little trees and snowflakes. So I thought that one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. So that's Snowy and Bright. Then we have Winter Whale. This one is at a trunk show, so I've got a picture in here, and I love it. I love it. He's also got a sweater, because why not? And little snowflakes coming out as a design. So that one was a lot of fun to work on. This one does use the beautiful Roxy Floss threads, and certainly those are available, but if you wanted to do something different, I would say pick the color that you like for the whale and then let everything else kind of work from that. Then we have Festive Forest. This was the Jingle Ball class that I taught last year, so it is now available 100%. This will be out in shops. I think the printer is hoping to get them to me no later than this coming Friday, and sooner if possible. So as soon as I get them, I will pack them and send them out to shops. You can contact them and get your order in. And then finally, we have Merry Menagerie 2024. This one, it was a little confusing. I did this last year and it was the Jingle Ball exclusive. So this is the first time it's generally available. So you can contact your shop, even though it says 2024. This is the first general release of it. And I loved it. I loved putting the animals out. I had hoped to do one every year, but I didn't get one done this year. So next year I'll have to be sure to do one. But it's got this fun tinsel around the edge, which was a really easy way to finish it. Feels very festive. And I love the different animals, the axolotl and the killdeer and the blue penguins. So it was a lot of fun to work on these. As I said, these are all going out to shops except for the Jingle Ball exclusive, and they will all be available at the Jingle Ball as well in a month. But you can get them sooner by talking to your local shop. On to giveaway. Let's see. Last video, it was this beautiful project, or I guess from last video, the beautiful project bag from Made by Mama Joan. Donated by Joan and Brett from Beautiful. I love the pigs. And the winner is Allison Karen Flying Free. So get in touch with me, Allison. Let me know your mailing address and I will get that in the mail to you. Give away this video. As usual, we've got 5 new releases, so I will pick 5 winners in the next video. You can choose any one of my charts, PDF or printed, and just let me know. Use the word snow in your comments to be one of those. On to announcements. The website freebies issue has, I believe, been fixed, and I will be working on adding some of the older ones too that just never got posted onto the web. There are quite a few of those, actually, little freebies that I've done for this and that and I've never put up, so I will look forward to getting those up there. I've also put up the fall releases, so you can get those as a PDF or a printed chart in the US off the website now. And that is actually it for me. I've got to film, I think, 2 more Jingle Ball videos after this and get onto those chart class blanks. But otherwise, I can just relax this weekend since I don't have new things to pack from the printer. I can maybe do some stitching. So we've got a little puppy video at the end. Thank you again for joining me, and it was lovely to spend some time with you. I look forward to chatting with you again in a couple of weeks. Bye.